Yo, this is not even my normal introduction, but I'm hyped right now. Y'all can just see the background. But 100% here, 100% me to you and Gam. It's fucking lit. Y'all already know my team, GBN. Check us out. It is YGO time. Like, it's YGO time right now. We got the updates, the new blue cards, the new link cards. They out. There's an update right here on them right now. Ignore the background. I know this is not my normal background, and there might be some noise in the background, like my fucking birdies. They don't shut the fuck up, but I love them so much. But two fucking parakeets. They're mad cute, but mad loud. But anyways, ignore the background. I'm in a room right now in my house, and it's just I have to make this. I'm usually like making videos Sunday, Mondays, and Tuesdays because my day's off. But I have to make this right now. Like, I literally go to work later on at night. I have to make this right now. I couldn't wait, and I'm gonna be away too. In the weekend, I'm going to Pennsylvania for a winter brawl. But yeah, you guys can check that out. They're gonna be streaming shit. It's gonna be dope. Street Fighter, you know how it is. But I have to, and I'm shooting this shit up today. Like, I'm shooting this shit up right after. It's like literally right after. Like, it's fucking right now in New York. It's 4:57 p.m. Like, I'm shooting this shit up right now. Like, it's gonna be a long ass video because I'm explaining this shit very carefully. A lot of people's confused right now about these new cards and they don't understand. But I'm gonna tell you right now, it's worth it. And look, at the end of the day, if you quit Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a choice. If you want to quit, I get it. But just don't bash it, please. And I'm gonna explain to you why towards the end of the video why you shouldn't bash it. You know what I mean? Because the main obvious reason is because you're gonna fuck it up for the players that actually do want to continue to play Yu-Gi-Oh! You know what I mean? If you already quit and you're bashing it, like, don't even do that because you already quit. If you're thinking of quitting, and the reason why you're quitting is because of what you're saying, whatever you're bashing it about is the reason why you're quitting. It might help you if you listen to what I say towards the end of this video. It might change your idea on it too. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. If you feel like quitting, I completely understand. But just don't mess it up for the people that continue, to play this game and wants to continue to play this game. Because I, for one, that I want to continue playing this game. This shit is fucking sick right now. Like, this shit is fucking sick right now. Like, it got so much better. And this page right here, I already read everything about it. The next page, which is this one right here, is like the next update. They show other cards and shit like that's coming out. I haven't read that one, so I'm gonna be completely new to that. So let's go back to this one. And I here we go. I just got mad shit to say. Drink responsibly, of course. I'm not fucking hype right now. I'm gonna start off by explaining the what can I say, the new cards, and then explaining like how does Yu-Gi-Oh work, like what should you expect from them, because I actually guessed this type of like new card that was gonna come out. I called it the Guardian card. That was my guess, but it's like a Guardian card, but it's not a Guardian card. They did some crackhead shit right now, so y'all ready to pay attention. And sorry about that. I gotta make this big again. So to make sure my camera is good money. I'm gonna explain it thoroughly. I know it's probably still confusing for some other people. There's a whole bunch of other people right now trying to explain it, but I'm gonna explain it thoroughly. And I think I may be wrong, but it's common sense. If you use common sense, you'll be able to figure out. All right, so here we go, guys. All right, so we have introducing Link Summon and changes to the dueling field as well as Pendulum Summons. Straight off the back, them niggas is telling you they're gonna change Pendulum Summons. So that's straight off the back, like a reason why you should probably come back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Or like you shouldn't quit. Because I understand Pendulum's is crackhead speed. That shit was just bring them all out. That's what Pendulum said. Just bring them all out. Here's your 5 and spelling trap card zone. Just bring them all out. XCs, synchros, just bring them all out. I understand. That shit was insane. I understand. Now, there's a new card, Deco Taker. Take a good look at this. Like, I'm gonna leave it up for a while so I can take a good look at this shit. I don't know if I could zoom it anymore. I could. All right, check this out. Take a good look at the card. All right. All right. Just gonna let y'all look at that real quick. Off the bat, this shit got no levels. That's the first thing you notice. Besides the blue on it all over it. Shit got no levels. Name, dark type, blue card. Now you see the corners on the card of the picture frame. There's arrows, right? Got one up, one diagonally left, one diagonally right, one left, one right, one diagonally left, one diagonally right, and one down. You notice off the back is like a triangle highlighted arrow. So his up arrow is highlighted. Bottom left arrow is highlighted. Bottom right arrow is highlighted. This is the way I looked at it when I was first looking at it, because this helps you out. It walks you through. Take a good look at the card first, and then you read the effect, and then you'll understand what is going on. So obviously, straight off the back, I realized, okay, these arrows are highlighted, and they are, and there's arrows that are not highlighted. Now, in the top, in the bottom left, attack points, 2300. Shit is highlighted. Right, Link 3. This shit got no defense. So off the back, I'm just like, what the fuck? Is it just this monster, or is it like it says Link 3? That means something. So I'm looking at the card and I'm just like, okay, there's 3 of them arrows highlighted. So is that what that Link 3 means? That Link 3 shit means? Bet. All right, so we're gonna go back. His name is, so they join an example card, Decode Talker, sorry. So Decode Talker, Dark Cybers type Link effect monster, Link 3, attack 2300. Materials, 2 or more effect monsters. 1, this card gains 500 attack for each monster's linked to it. 2, when an opponent's card effect targets a card you control is activated, you contribute 1 of your monsters linked to this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. So, off assumption, we got to go back. We just seen everything. That's why I told you to take a good look at the card. This is exactly what I did when I first seen this. So how would a monster be linked to this? So I'm assuming wherever those arrows pointed is how they link to that monster. So since he's a Link 3, he can link 3 monsters to himself. So he gets powered up by 1500. That's what automatically I said. I'm not saying that's what it is, but that's what I was just thinking about. So I'm trying to explain that as best as to my knowledge and as best as I can, because I know a lot of people's confused right now. Trust me, I was super confused, and especially when I first seen this shit, I was in the train. So I'm just like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Like, what is happening here? Bet. So it says, let's go step by step. Let's not go crazy. All right. So it says, further information. Look at those distinctive link markers. Use these markers to develop brand new strategies. It goes into your extra deck. So these shits go to the extra deck. All right. So those are for brand new strategies. All right. Check. That's easy, right? Bam. So we good. So we keep going. Trying to explain that as best as I can so y'all could get it. Now, all right. So let's not go crazy. Let's hide that part right there so people won't read ahead. You know what I'm saying? This how I did it. This helps. So there are 2 ways of link summoning. Send materials to the grave equal to the link number. You can link summon something from your extra deck by sending the same number of monsters that meet the material requirements written in the card's effect box, comma, whose total numbers equal to the link number, comma, from the field to the graveyard. So pretty much straight off the back, they're telling you is like you can synchro summon these shits in a term that we will understand. That's how you put it. You can synchro summon them shits and bring them out. All right. So I'm gonna get back to that. Let me just go to the second one. Now it says decrease materials by using link monsters. Link monsters are treated as the same number of materials as its link number. However, to use them, you must match the requirements written on this card. So that's confusing already, but you have to think like, okay, there's a way that you could like bring these shits out faster. It says decreasing materials by using link monsters. So decreasing materials meaning you don't need that much materials, you can just use them. And then it's talking about using a link number as like decreasing the material, basically. That's what it's saying. So let's go back to the first one. So it says send materials to the grave equal to the link number. Send materials to the grave equal to the link number. So now we don't know what's going on. You know, we don't know how do we know what are materials, you know, and what can we use to bring them out, whatever. So of course I have an example for us. So we're gonna read this. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. All right. In the case of Decode Talker, you can either use 3 effect monsters. He's a Link 3. So there's the materials. They have to be effect monsters. That's what it says in the beginning. Remember I said I was going to get back to that. You can link summon something from your extra deck by sending the same number of monsters that meet the material requirements written in the card's effect box, whose total number is equal to the link number from the field to the graveyard. So he uses 3 effect monsters. It could be 3 normal monsters. It could be anything, really. An Exceed monster, a Synchro. So think about it like this, just to be ahead of yourself a little bit. It depending on what's written on the card, it could be 3 effect monsters. It just says effect monsters. So Exceed has effects. Synchro has effects. Effect monster has effects. Normal monsters can be used, obviously, but I'm sure in the future they're gonna make cards that you can use normal monsters or just Exceed monsters, like all 3 Exceed monsters or 3 Synchro monsters, you know, etc., whatever. Now it says or use 1 link 2 effect monster and 1 effect monster. Now in the case of Decode Talker, so we're gonna go back to the card. Well, not even. He's right there. Decode Talker right there, right? See, that's the card up here. He's a Link 3. So what this means, and it's so simple. It's so simple. I'm sorry about the phone. At this time, my house is active. Like I said, it's gonna be fucking noisy like that, you know, in the background. So Link 3. So he uses 3 effect monsters. 3 effect monsters. Just effect monsters. So I'm assuming effect monsters, they're saying any monster that has effect. Because Exceed has monsters or Synchro, you know, they have, I mean, Exceed have effects, Synchros have effects, and effect monsters just have effects. But maybe it's just effect monsters. Maybe it's just the orange cards, right? So bet. So you can use 3 of those, you can bring them out. Or by decreasing. So use 1 link 2 effect monster and 1 effect monster. So link monsters are basically considered as the decrease of the material. So, for example, since it's a link 2, all you need is one more effect monster. So since it's a link 2, you just minus 2 from the effect monster. So you need one more effect monster than the link 2 monster. So I'm gonna give you an example right now. Let's say he was a link 5, right? Let's say he was a link 5, and his effect will say use 5 effect monsters. Obviously 5 because he's a link 5. Use 5 effect monsters. That's the first effect. So how would that work with like bringing it out with the decreasing material effect? In other words, it would have just said use one link 3 monster and 2 effect monsters, and then you'll still be able to bring them out. So that's what they're saying. Like there's ways of bringing these shits out. That right there is literally the summoning. It's not that hard. That's all it is. That's all it is. So, but keep in mind, it might say use 3 effect monsters. It might say use 3 synchro monsters. Use 3 exceed monsters. Use 1 synchro monster, one effect monster, 1 exceed monsters. It might say use a pendulum monster. It might say everything because the field changed, everything changed. So keep that in mind. That's literally how it is. That's just literally how it is. It's not even complicated. That's just literally how it is. So let's move along. We're gonna go paragraph by paragraph, right? So it says, pay attention to the direction of the link markers. The zones pointed to by each link marker and the cards in them will be affected by the link monster, and this will create new strategies. That's the shit that I was talking about. Wherever they pointing at, that's how I was saying. Maybe wherever they pointing at is the cards are linked to. So remember I told you that this guy has a triangle decode talker, has the up, bottom left diagonally, bottom right diagonally. If you have monsters there, he gets powered by 500. Now, some of y'all seen the new zones already, and y'all seen that where they at is above the monster card zone, which they're gonna show right now. So you guys are thinking like, wait, so you can summon monsters your opponent's side of the field? What the fuck? Honestly, you can. You deadass can, and that's the whole point of where everybody gets confused of like, what do they mean by summoning a whole bunch of shit? So I'm gonna show y'all right now what that means. So we going step by step, process elimination, step by step. It works all the time. So here we go. Let's just use this picture real quick. Oh wait. Let's not get crazy. Let's not get crazy. Scroll up, freaking laptop. All right. They have no defense. Fucking exclamation marks and shit at the end. Link monsters have no defense points, and they have the special characteristics of being unable to change their battle positions or turning to defense position by effects. My nigga, you can't. This is not even like. This is ruling. This is not even like effects. These shits cannot be in defense mode at all or change to defense mode. You can't even tell them like, oh, this change all monsters to face on defense position, ignoring effects. No, ignoring all types of effects. You can't even do some shit like that. Like this is literally how they are. Them shits. Like you see how like seed monsters have like no level. They have rank. Like you, even if there was a card that said, oh, ignoring the monster's effect regardless, you could give an exceed monster a level with this card. Even if they make some shit like that, like it's in the rulings that exceed monsters have ranks and they cannot have level. So it's in the rulings that these shits cannot go to defense mode. You could do anything. They cannot go to defense mode. I just wanted to knock that shit out the park right there. Because people's going to be like, oh, this and that, this and that. No, that's it. That's just how it is. That's what people quit Yu-Gi-Oh! Because all that extra shit. No, that's it and that's it. You know, there's a correct, there's an incorrect, that's it. I'm sorry. It's just how it is. Yes, I know what y'all seeing right now. What the fuck? What the fuck is the pendulum zone doing down there? Look. I'm gonna tell you right now, I love pendulums. I love everything about Yu-Gi-Oh! And let me tell you, I was not mad at people when they quit for the pendulums. For Arc 5, I wasn't mad at them. Like, yo, y'all right. I agree. Like, it got crazy. But when people quit after synchros because of exceeds, I'm like, are you fucking serious? Especially when the exceeds, and I made a video about this. Why do people quit Yu-Gi-Oh! On my channel? I'm like, why the fuck? Y'all gotta listen to that, yo, because I said some brilliant shit. I'm like, yo, why the fuck people are quitting off exceeds? And the shit just started. Like, first of all, Zexo just started. Like, this is a starter pack card. Fucking Utopia was like the hottest shit we had on the device, and y'all quitting? Y'all niggas got all types of synchros, beast mode that could dog them shits, and y'all quitting? Like, what the fuck? People was quitting for the most nonsense shit, like when it came to Exceed. Now, people that quit for Pendulums, I completely get it. That shit was beast. Bring everything out. That's what the Pendulums say. Fuck everything. Bring everything out. That's Pendulums. So, they changed their effects. So, and I'm really hype about this, and I'm giving y'all all my energy, giving y'all the real me, 100% me to you in gaming. That's just how that's me. You feel me? So there's the 5 monsters, your opponents, and there's the new zone. That's where the card is that you see. Boom. Then your 5 monsters. Yep, everything is normal, right? Extra deck. Um, sorry, field zone. 5 monsters. Graveyard. Extra deck. Spell and trap cards. Main deck. Yeah, pendulum zones are down there now. In other words, we are going to read what's going to happen, but you can guess it. So yeah, you can either use the pendulum card zones, or you can set your magic and trap cards now. But when you have pendulums there, then obviously you only have 3 magic and trap cards left. So that it limits you. It limits pendulum summon OD. And remember, guys, this is aside from the new rulings of Yu-Gi-Oh! Overall. Remember, we start off with 12,000 life points now, and then they limit the shit out of pendulum monsters. They limit them. Like, okay, the effect of bringing a whole bunch of monsters out is still out, but they're now in your spell and trap card zones. So you only have 3 spell and trap cards to protect them. You know what I mean? It's limited now. It's limited. Like back then, you could still destroy spell and trap cards. I mean, you can still destroy pendulum cards in the pendulum card zones, yeah. But you have 5 spell and trap cards to defend your pendulum zone. So they nerfing the shit out of pendulum monsters. And remember that new rule. Remember, this is aside from the new rule. You start off with 12,000 life points, and people that goes first, they can't pendulum summon on their first turn. So they nerf the shit out of pendulum monsters. But that's what Yu-Gi-Oh do. When synchros, synchros came out, they said out with the old, fuck rituals and fusion. Not that they completely dropped them, but they wanted everybody to use synchros mostly. Same thing with Exceed. They want everybody to use Exceed mostly. Same thing with Pendulum. They want to use, everybody use Pendulums mostly. That's just how it is. So right now, what they're basically saying, like, yeah, it's a wrap for Pendulum. You want to bring out a whole bunch of monsters, you have to use these link cards, and you could bring out a whole bunch of monsters out. So we're gonna continue reading on the effect, right? So it says it right there in the bottom. Let's go step by step. Process of elimination, guys. Remember, this shit always works. The newly created extra monster zone. You can only use one of them. So you only use one of them. Obviously, that's what you're talking about, the new monster zone, right? Now it says, and the reason why I pause like that is because I think I missed something that I needed to tell y'all up there, but I think I said everything. It will come back to me as I read this. I pray it does. I don't think I missed anything. I'm just super excited. Did I miss anything? I'm sorry, guys, for the delay. Okay, let me just continue. When the duel begins, neither extra monster zone is considered to belong to a specific player. Period. All right? You heard him. Or it. Or whoever the fuck put this shit up. When the duel begins, neither extra monster zone is considered to belong to a specific player. Neither extra monster zone. We don't know what the fuck is an extra monster zone. Just calm down, guys. That I understand you get confused at what the fuck is that. Okay, just calm down. Process of elimination. When a player special summons a monster to one of them, that zone then becomes treated as part of that player's field, comma, fucking Mega Man Battle Network, area steal. Remember that battle chip? That's what the fuck Yu-Gi-Oh's doing. And the other then becomes treated as the player's field. And the others then becomes treated as the other's player's field. I'm giving you time to read. That's what I'm doing. Period, right? The tactics of a duel will change drastically depending on who can grab extra monster zone first, and an extra deck monster can only be summoned to extra monster to the extra monster zone. But if you summon a link monster to one of the extra monsters zone first, you can utilize it to its max potential. So obviously, think about it like this: you have your 5 regular fields, and then you have a 5 regular fields, and you have one extra zone. So the way it works is like this: you have basically 7 monsters. You basically have 7 monster card zones. Because remember what it says. It says when a player specials a monster to one of them, that zone then becomes treated as part of that player's field, and the other becomes treated as the other player's field. So remember those arrows? You want to basically, play smart. You want to play smart. You want to use your deck correctly. Duel Links is going to be a big strategy change because it's just not about the monster's effect, when he's on that monster zone, but like the arrows pointing too. So that's why they emphasizing on that part. Don't get confused with your original monster zone. They're talking about the extra monster zone, which is obviously where the new monster goes. People already jump and think that they're talking about your opponent's regular zones. They have more information on this now, but I'm gonna explain to you. Remember, we're going step by step. So, going back to the picture, 1 and 2. The way you got to think about it, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then, basically, what's going on is that these 2 shits is mine. So if I go first, basically, I get to pick 1. So we really have 7 because of choice. But once we pick 1, we have 6. So it's 1 and then 2, 3, 4, 5. So in other words, I'll bring out any monster there first. This shit becomes his automatically. So I'm fucking up his strategy because remember, the arrows is pointing a certain way. Because remember what I said about the arrows and what it means. You could summon monsters here or summon monsters here. Because remember, it's the arrow pointing down or diagonally. Yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is. I'm going to get back on it. Stay with me, guys. So depending on what type of Link monsters you have in your extra deck and where the arrows point at is like the type of strategy that they talking about where you want to build and it requires new thinking. So you could fuck somebody over if their deck is pushing like right, you could say. Like, okay, I want this side and because my cards push right or forward, right? But if he took it from me, this side right here, I'm fucked because it's just like, fuck, he fucked up my strategy. Because once you take either side, the opposite becomes your opponent. So if I take this left side right here, it becomes my opponent. This right side becomes my opponent. So if I take this right side right here, this left side becomes my opponent. That's all they're talking about, guys. This shit is so easy. This shit is easy. All right. So we're gonna move. We're gonna move on from that. Now this is the juicy part. This is where it gets juicy. Extra deck monsters like Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, and Link cannot be summoned to the main monster zone. Beware. So it says, when the duel begins, neither extra monster zone is considered to belong to a specific player. Now, remember that, right? Extra deck monsters like Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, and Link cannot be summoned to the main monster zones. Beware. Now, look how it ended. We got to go back. It says, the tactics of a duel will change drastically depending on who can grab an extra deck monster zone first. An extra deck monster can only be summoned to the extra deck monster zone, but if you summon a Link monster to one of the extra monster zone first, you can utilize it to its max potential. So basically, you have to summon to the extra monster zone first. You have to summon to the extra monster zone first. To automatically determine which one is yours. That's what it says. Extra deck monsters like Fusion, Synchro, and Exceed, and Link cannot be summoned to the main monster zones. Beware. This is where it gets even more juicy. Yeah, we can use that picture. We can use that picture just because. All right. No. So it says, what has been the monster zone up till now is now the main monster zone. What has been the monster zone up till now is now the main monster zone. They just gave it the main monster zone name. The pendulum zone is on the left and right of the spell and trap card zone of the spell and trap zone. Sorry about the phone, guys. My house be busy at this time. You can use it as a normal spell and trap zone, but when you place pendulum cards there, it is treated as the pendulum zone. So obviously, it's just basically regular spells and traps. What I explained earlier. Self-explanatory. You just have less cards to defend your pendulum zones, stuff like that. That's all they explain. Now let's go down with these pictures right here. There's a super quick QAI. The zones pointed at by Link markers can be used to bring out extra deck monsters. So remember about the extra deck monsters. Remember that. Although extra deck monsters can only be summoned to the extra monster zone normally, if you have a link monster in the extra monster zone, the zones pointed at by their link markers can be used to summon extra deck monsters. So if you get our link summoned quickly, you can bring out fusion, synchro, and exceed monsters in succession. Of course, you can summon any other link monster in one of these zones. So if you play your cards right, you can fill your entire main monster zone with extra deck monsters. The new metagame will require careful consideration of where to place monsters. That's what I was talking about earlier. So depending on what zone you take is automatically how your duel is gonna go. So let's go back. So that's all it is, guys. We already know how to summon the monsters. We already know like how they work, and you just basically, you want to use like Decode Talker, like I told you, Decode Talker. He has 3. So you bring him in your link zone first, 1, 2, and 3. So that means you can special summon one up here in your opponent's monster, or one up here, or one up here. And pretty much it makes sense because they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 links. They have 8 links, you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So imagine a monster that you put in a link zone that has all the fucking arrows highlighted. That shit will be completely broken because you can summon something literally anywhere. So people is like, what people saying is, oh, what people is saying is like, oh, but the link monsters, this is what people are saying. Oh, but the link monsters, they have their own zone. So why is their arrows pointing left and right? They can't bring anything to the left and to the right. So what they're trying to say is this. They're like, so what if you bring your shit out and your shit has like arrows pointing left and to the right? Like there's no zones to the right on certain areas and no zones to the left of certain areas of where you can bring it. But that's where the strategy lies. You know how they just finished saying, you got to take careful consideration of where you're going to place your monsters. That's what this game is going to be about now. So for example, what they're saying is, okay, let's say Decode Talker, just for example, let's say he would have had arrows that are highlighted left and right. So people are saying, okay, to the right, there ain't shit there. Where the fuck he's going to summon? But if he has left and right, so basically, if he had one pointing to the left, he'll be able to take over this monster card zone. And I know people are arguing the fact that they're saying, oh, but that other zone goes automatically. It automatically becomes the other players. Yeah, I think it automatically becomes the other player off an assumption when the turn ends. So you'll be able to bring 2 monsters on that zone because none of them is how they said. None of the zones belong to anybody. So you can probably take both of them, and then you could just swarm your whole 5 field and swarm your opponent's entire field. Because imagine if you have a monster that brings out that has all arrows in the top highlighted. So imagine you have 2 monsters here in your link zone, in your new extra monster zone, that has all the arrows highlighted. That means you could bring shit here, bring shit here, bring shit up here, bring shit up here, bring shit up here. Nigga, it's gonna be crazy. You could take the entire dude's field and he won't be able to summon. You're just hitting him. The nigga has to fucking dark hole, basically. And that's pretty much what Yu-Gi-Oh is. There's a picture that gives a good example, which I haven't showed when I read the other one. So it's pretty much where's that picture at? It's a good picture. Oh, right here. All right. So there's what I'm talking about. Low link monsters probably have depending on the link number is depending on the arrows. So obviously the highest link number they could go is 8. Now I don't know if in the future they're gonna make like some crazy ass shit with arrows pointing all over the place, but it wouldn't make sense because it has to work with the zones. So the highest would be 8. So for example, you see this card right here, you could barely see this shit. Let me see if I can zoom in even more. All right, perfect. All right. So check this out, guys. So you see this card? He's a link 1. Obviously, you can barely see it. I mean, if I was to zoom it up, you can't see it, but he's obviously a link 1 because if you see here, there's nothing there, there's nothing there, and there's nothing there, and then there's nothing there, there's nothing there, there's nothing here, and there's nothing here, but here's linked. So he has 1 link, but look what he did. There's the slick shit about this. So isn't the extras monster zone, right? And look, now this is a Link 2 monster, obviously. You could clearly see that it says Link 2 in the bottom. All the bottom links not highlighted. All the top links not highlighted. Meaning you could special summon monsters here. You understand what I'm saying? These are his links. These are his links. These are his links. That's basically what it is. That means that you could bring monsters to the left and to the right, and so on and so forth. So it's like people saying it's dumb because you could just summon synchro monsters normally and exceed monsters normally, and you could cover up your whole field without having to be able to do all this dumb shit. But that's the whole point of Duel Links and the new Yu-Gi-Oh! They want you to use their cards. They want you to use the new card. So now it's like you can't summon monsters normally no more. You have to use the Duel Link cards basically. That's what they're basically saying. All right, guys. So I'm just gonna read it again, just so people that are confused right now. When the duel begins, remember, neither extra monster zone is considered to belong to a specific player. So none of them shits is yours. None of them two on the top is yours. When a player special summons a monster to one of them, that zone then becomes treated as part of that player's field, and the other then becomes treated as the other player's field, and the other then becomes treated as the other player's field. But remember, these are link monsters. You could summon the whole point of link monsters. You could summon monsters to your opponent's side of the field. So, okay, yeah, I summoned it here. I'm sorry, guys, to explain this so thoroughly, but I want you guys to get it. Yeah, I summoned this here. This is treated as his, but so is these fives in the top. If my shit has an arrow pointed to the right, nigga, I could summon some shit there. And if it's a link monster, I could take over your field, my mans. I'm going off. You know what I mean? It's more slower though. You understand what I'm saying? That's why the pendulums, they slowed it down. They slowed down the deck though, the duel, definitely. The tactics of a duel will change drastically depending on who can grab an extra monster zone first. An extra deck monster can only be summoned to the extra monster zone, but if you summon a link monster to one of the extra monster zone, you can utilize it to its max potential. Extra deck monsters like Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, and Link cannot be summoned to main card zone. Beware. What has been the monster up to now is now the main monster zone. The pendulum zone is on the left and the right. All right, so you already know that part. So basically, it's like you can't special summon, but this it leads off to where we are right now. So there's like the wrap up. So you guys can get it quick. There's a QA, right? The picture just showing the QA pictures and all that shit, whatever. It says if special summon an extra deck monster normally and it goes to the graveyard and I want to special summon it with Monster Born, which zone does it go to? It goes to the main monster zone, not the extra deck, not the extra monster zone. Can you use Book of Moon on Link monsters? A Link monster cannot be phased out, so you cannot target them with Book of Moon. That shit doesn't work. If your opponent's only monster in the extra monster zone is in the extra monster zone, can you attack directly? If there's a monster in the extra monster zone, unless some kind of effect is in play, you would have to attack the monster first. So they're considered being a monster on the field. You have to get rid of everything, then hit them directly. Can you destroy two set spell and trap cards in your leftmost and rightmost spell and trap card zones with Ring Eyes? The leftmost and rightmost spell and trap card zones are regular spell and trap card zones that do not become pendulum zones unless you activate a pendulum card in them, or if a pendulum card is placed in them by a card effect. A set spell and trap card in either of those zones cannot be destroyed by Wavering Eyes. Obviously, because that we know Wavering Eyes effect. So remember what it says. If special summon an extra deck monster normally and it goes to Giver and I want to special summon it with Monster Board, which zone does it go to? It goes to the main monster card zone, not the extra deck monster zone. This is where we gotta go all the way up so I can finally get everything. They haven't said anything about having one um they haven't said anything about having one link monster on your side of the field. They have two zones, but neither zone belongs to a player. So by the picture, obviously you got more than one link monster, depending where the arrow is pointing, where the link is pointing at. You got more than one link monster link to a link monster, and more than one link monster on the zone, depending if you snatch their zone, basically. I did have something to say. Remember, I said that earlier, and I forgot what it was. But that's pretty much it. So when the duel begins, neither extra monster zone is considered to belong to a specific player. And when a player special summons a monster to one of them, that zone then becomes treated as part of that player's field, and then the other becomes treated as the other player's field. The tactics of a duel will change drastically depending on who can grab an extra deck monster zone first. An extra deck monster can only be summoned to the extra monster zone. But if you summon a link monster to one of the extra monster zone first, you can utilize it to its max potential. So you can't bring out. They changed the duel. You can't bring out monsters to the regular zone anymore. It's harder now. So all that swarming, blah, 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 whatever, pendulum, blah, 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 whatever, that shit stopped. They stopped that shit. Nigga, you only could bring out one monster, nigga. And that's in that zone. And that's it. The only way you could bring out more monsters, like exceed synchros and all that shit, is if you have a link monster there. And then you can link it and then do what you gotta do. Now it came with a heavy price because they slowed down the game a lot. But basically you could bring out monsters anywhere. You have 10 fields basically. So they changed the game a lot. They changed the game a lot. It makes sense. It's like they started Yu-Gi-Oh again. Duel Links just came out, that game. So it's like introducing a new type of Yu-Gi-Oh, like quick playing style. But they're not doing that with the pro level gaming. Not 3 monsters and 3 spells and traps. Nah. But they slowed down the game for people that that quit it. You know what I mean? And I didn't have anything else to say. I think that was everything. Now I just want to talk about, like how I said in the beginning of the video, I'm gonna explain to y'all like maybe why y'all could come back, but if y'all choose not to, it's okay, or why y'all shouldn't quit. But if y'all choose to, then it's okay. I can't really change. But please don't bash. This is what I was saying. Please don't bash Yu-Gi-Oh. Don't bash Yu-Gi-Oh. Do not bash Yu-Gi-Oh. Because I want to continue playing this game, and people that want to continue playing this game, if you guys bash it, it's like it's gonna fuck it up for us, and it doesn't make sense to bash the game if you quit already. You know what I mean? So for those who quit because of pendulums, I say you could come back. You can't swarm anymore. You can't swarm anymore. It's back to strategy now in Yu-Gi-Oh. People's complaining that you know is implementing new strategy, but people's complaining you don't need strategy to win in Yu-Gi-Oh no more. You just gotta go off. I mean, yeah, pendulum summon. We have fun with that shit, going off everywhere. But now it's like nope. Now you have to depend on your pendulums, but then it's harder to defend it, and you can't even go off because you only could bring one sync or one fusion and any of them extra deck monsters to that zone. You want to bring out more, you gotta throw a fucking link monster in that bitch. Then you could bring out more. So they fucking hooked up the game. And it's like, I see why they put it that you can't switch them shits to defense, because it'll be mad pussy if they up there. You still have to get rid of them to attack directly. And if they up there in defense and you could bring out match shit on your opponent's side of the field and all that shit, that's fucking insane. You know what I mean? That's insane. So pretty much like this really helped out. I just want to put this picture as I speak about this. This really helped out. I like a lot. Like it really helped out a lot. And I want to say something really quickly. That's what I had to say. That was the main thing that I had to say before I start talking about why people shouldn't quit. Maybe I am wrong about summoning monsters to your opponent's side of the field. That's why this arrow is pointing up, and that's why they have these arrows here. Maybe you can't summon monsters on your opponent's side of the field. That's what I was gonna say. Maybe you could summon up to 10 monsters because the arrows point, and you could probably special summon shit, right? But what I think these are is the links. These are the links. So remember how I said Decode Talker? He gets powered up by 500 for each card's linked to it. So any cards that's here is like the cards that they're linked. So basically, you could link your opponent's card and get a certain effect depending on that card's effect. So as for Decode Talker, let's say this is Decode Talker right here. Matter of fact, yeah, this is him. He has one linked here. He has one linked here, and one linked up there. He's using his opponent's card as a link. So he gains 1,500. So I don't think so. Let's say the Decode Talker had an arrow highlighted pointing down, and he had a card right here. That would be 2,000, honestly. So I don't think the arrows pointing up to your opponent's side of the field means that you can special summon on their side of the field. I think it just means that it will help their link effects, basically. Because the reason why I said that is because in the other picture you saw when we had, let me show you right now. In the other picture you saw when we had link down and then left and right. I was thinking like, what if it was linked up and then in the top there was like one of your link monsters on the top, and then it had the same thing as left and right, but on my opponent's side of the field. So that is not in the ruling, so I may be wrong for that. And like I said, the arrows is just for for like effects, but keep everything that I said in mind, because they can make literally a link monster's effect where you can depending on its link number, you could probably they'll probably make a beast ass monster where, okay, let's say his link number is 8. He has all fucking arrows highlighted. One of his effects could be if any of this card's links is pointing to your opponent's monster card zone, you can special summon your monster on your opponent's side of the field. That it could be like that. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. Keep everything I said in mind. Because let me use this picture, it's better and it's bigger. Because it could literally say that. So right now, okay, you have one here, that's a link, diagonally down to the right, and then diagonally down to the left, like we saw in the last picture, right? And down to the top. So it's 555, right? That's 1,500, right? That's 1,500. I know Yu-Gi-Oh always does extra shit when it comes to, like, you know, making beast monsters. Like, you see how in Pendulum we had Exceed Pendulums, then we had Synchro Pendulums. They had Exceed Pendulums and Synchro Pendulums. But at first, when Pendulums came out, it was just regular Pendulum cards, right? Regular Effect Pendulum cards, and then regular normal Pendulum cards. Then they made Exceed Pendulums, and they made Synchro Pendulums, and then Fusion Pendulums. So they could probably do that with this card, where it's like, this shit could be half Link, half fucking Pendulum. Or, yeah, it could be half Link, half Pendulum. That should be crackhead, but... Or it could be, like I said, one, and sorry I'm talking like this, guys, because I'm new with this too. Let's say 2, all right, so he's 1, 2, and 3, obviously link 3. So if he was link 8, these 3 arrows on the bottom will be highlighted, these 2 right here will be highlighted, and then these 3 in the top. So 3 plus 2 plus 3, 3 plus 2, 5, plus 3, 8. So he's a link 8 number, right? And let's say its effect would say, wherever this card's links is pointing at, if any of these cards links is pointing towards an opponent's monster card zone, wherever it's pointing at, you can special summon monsters to your opponent's side of the field and consider them your monsters. They could do that. So that's what I was saying. Maybe what I was saying earlier about summoning monsters to your opponent's side of the field is not what those arrows are for, and those arrows are just for like the effects, meaning like Decode Talker. Wherever card is linked to it, he gains 500. So if your opponent has a monster on his side of the field, like in the picture that we just saw, where there was a Celestial, I think it was, on the opponent's side of the field, he could still use that opponent's monster for his advantage because it juices him for 500, because that's Decode Talker's effect. And here's a picture right here. 2 of his monsters, so he has 1,000 juice. But then he's using his opponent's monster, and that's not Celestial. Sorry, that's some other shit. I thought it was Celestial, but pretty much yeah. So that's his effect. He just gets juice for every card that is linked. Had Deco's Tucker effect would have been, oh, the link that's pointing to an opponent's monster card zone, it becomes one of your zones, so you can summon a monster there too. That shit will be beast. And it can have an effect like monster summon your opponent's monster summoned by this effect to your opponent's side of the field. Monster summoned by this link monster's effect to your opponent's side of the field cannot be attacked by your opponent's monster cards. So you have a fucking monster that's just literally taking up a zone and literally probably hitting you directly. Or probably that would be 2 beats. Because like, okay, now you have a monster on my opponent's side of the field. And that shit could attack me directly and I can't even touch it. I mean, you could hit it with spells and traps. You probably could hit it with other shit, remove it. Or they could make it that it just takes up a zone. So you could use your monster's effect on your opponent's side of the field when you use it off that link monster's effect, but you can't attack your opponent directly. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? That should be beast. So I know they're going to do a lot of tricky, cute things with these link cards. So just keep that in mind. Because remember, that, like I said, I'm going to repeat it one last time. That's just Deco's take Talker's effect. He gets juice for 500 for this shit right here, and then the other 2 in the bottom, right? But let's say this effect right here, if it's pointing up to an opponent's monster card zone, this is an opponent's monster card zone. Let's say this effect of Deco Target would have been that you could summon a monster there because that zone is now considered yours. It'll be beast because let's say that monster there cannot be attacked by your opponent's monsters, obviously, because these monsters are like on the next to them, right? And then let's say you can just hit your opponent directly. Boom, boom. People will be like, oh shit, that's broken. It can continually hit you directly and it can't be touched by your opponent's monster. That's broken. Well, that could be later on for like the new series of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because you know, all the beaster shit in Yu-Gi-Oh! Comes out towards the end. And at the end of the day, it's not even that beast because that nigga could just destroy it. So yeah, it can be attacked by your opponent's monster, but it could be destroyed by a spell and trap or a monster effect. So that works too. Or that link monster that could do that basically says that that monster on that zone that you place on your opponent's side of the field that's now your zone cannot attack. And it can only use a monster effect, and it can only use its monster effect, which is kind of, you know, it's kind of fair. It's a new way of dueling now. This shit is fucking crazy. So you already know. Just keep that in mind. Keep everything that I said in mind, guys. But as of now, what it is, we already know how to summon them. It's simple. Follow the link number, link 8. So you if it's link 8, you obviously gonna need a link 3 monster and 5 effect monsters, or you're gonna need a link 4 monster and then 4 effect monsters, pretty much. Because every other normal monsters beside extra deck monsters, you could bring them out to the field. So pendulum monsters, pendulum is going to be to basically help you out bring the materials for the link monsters. Yeah, because you can't pendulum basically exceed monsters anymore. Or synchros, or because you only can bring one of them shits out to the extra monsters, to the extra monster zone. You can't bring them down to the main monster zone no more. So it slowed down pendulum a lot. So going back to what I was talking about for the people that quit Yu-Gi-Oh! When it came to pendulums, I respect that because that shit was beast. But guess what? It's super nerfed. You only could bring out normal monsters and regular effect monsters to your side of the field and swarm. You can't even bring out, like I said, like how they said, fusions or fucking synchros and exceeds. Yeah, you can't. Rituals, you know, rituals already like hard to bring out because you need a ritual card and all that shit. Them shit is super fair. I know there's a lot of crackhead ritual cards though that makes it easier for you to bring them out, but you know. They slowed down Yu-Gi-Oh, man. You know what I mean? Like I said, people that quit for... I respect people that quit, period. I just can't believe that people quit in the beginning of Zexo. Like, bro, synchros were still on top around that time. Like, what the fuck is a Utopia Leviathan gonna do, bro? You know what I mean? Or a fucking Acid Golem. Like, that shit was... It's slick the way they came out, yes, but like, you know... And like I said, you guys can check my other channel, Why Do People Quit Yu-Gi-Oh! I got a part 1 and part 2. Like, these people are serious? Like, what? Now, pendulums, I understand. That shit was fucking ridiculous, nigga. First turn... 5 cards. Synchro, exceed. Again, that's beast. You have a reason to quit. Now, those who quit because of that, you guys can come back. It's up to you if you don't want to understand. But those who are thinking of quitting because they're thinking like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is changing too much, man, Duel Links just made this game really fucking fair right now. They made this shit really fucking fair. And I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I'm sorry this video is going to be really long, but it's very informing. I wanted to talk to you guys about you know, the effect monsters. I mean, not the effect monsters, the Yu-Gi-Oh! How Yu-Gi-Oh! Works. So The beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh was just about who has the highest attack, and who could bring out the highest attack monster first. It was just distributing. There's a first season. Who has the good power-up cards, the equips, I mean, that's what it was about. Then later on, towards the end of that first season of Yu-Gi-Oh, they made super effect monsters. So it's just not about normal high hitter attack monsters like Blue Eyes and shit like that. Now it's about those effect monsters and those equip cards. A back in the day deck that was old school, that was like the top shit ever, and these cards were expensive. It was Hayabusa Knight with Scapegoat, he went and United We Stand. Scapegoat, equip Hayabusa Knight with United We Stand. 800 for each token on the field, attack twice, game. That shit became a fucking 4,000 hitter that could attack twice, That was like back in the day shit. Or if you had a Fiend deck with Dark Ruler Hades and Yada Garuzu and you hitting niggas depending on what format you played, it was Beast. And the Light and Dark that Cancer per Dragon, and Envy of the End, and then Envy of the Beginning, the Blacklist Soldier. So, depending on where you came from, how long, and when you started Yu-Gi-Oh, like that's how Yu-Gi-Oh was from the first season. So pretty much it was all about beat stick. It was all about who has the highest attack and the best effect. Then GX solidified. It's all about monster effects. Gemini's, Gladiator Beast, Crystal Beast, all them fucking unique cards, Elemental Hero, all them shits came out. And that shit just made it, monster effect is everything. So then it was just monster effect was everything. So then Synchro was like, these are just like, okay, monster effects is everything, but we have to make every single card relevant. Because if monster effects is everything, nobody's going to use tuner cards no more. So the tuning idea basically made every single monster into an effect monster in some sense, because even if a monster is normal now, a vanilla card, if it's a tuner type, it basically has an effect. You can synchro something with that shit. So that's the magic of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that's how they work. Like, this company is actually doing good. We bash that shit a lot, but they're doing good. They made every single card relevant, and plus you can use these new these 5D cards, the synchros. That's why people love the shit out of synchros. Now, what was the problem with synchros? It got out of hand. A lot of people quit in the 5Ds era towards the end. It got out of hand. People were summoning a whole bunch of crazy shit. People was getting pissed. So they needed they felt like they needed help. And what did Exceed Monsters did? Like I said in my last two videos of why do people quit Yu-Gi-Oh, I explained they made Exceed Monsters. What are Exceed Monsters? Trap monsters. Every Exceed material on an Exceed Monster, think of it of a set spell and trap card. It's numbered effects, and it's not effects that's like continues like regular effect monsters, but there's a lot of Exceed monsters that you can use those effects in your opponent's turn, and they're trap monsters. That's what they are. They're trap monsters. So Yu-Gi-Oh went from highest attack and beat stick to effect monsters, to solidifying effect monsters, to making all monsters relevant and have them feel like an effect monster, which is 5Ds, to motherfucking literally trap monsters. Like, okay, because these monsters got out of hand. You know what I mean? Like I said, the first season, beat stick and effect. Second season, straight effect. Third season, all effects. Everything is effect, even fucking normal monsters with the tuning shit. Fourth season, now they're like, yo, we need to slow these shits down. So we got to bring effect monsters that could stop these new beast as monsters coming out with these beast as effects, but in a way make these new monsters like have a stopping effect that's good. They made Exceeds with the Exceed materials. It's like they have trap. It's like they have traps in them. Three Exceed materials that can negate something, or two Exceed materials that can negate something, or just like, let's say you have one left because you had Exceed monster that requires two Exceed materials, so you already used one effect, so they have one Exceed material left. Think of it like each Exceed material as a trap card. So it only makes sense that 5Ds came out. Okay, we have these trap monsters that Exceeds. What the fuck should we make next? Magic monsters. How should we help them out? Well, monsters is pretty much everything, and we have all types of monsters: Exceed, Synchros, Fusion, Rituals, and these beasts as effect monsters that we helped out effect monsters to another level. Let's literally like help them even more out. Pendulum, even better. The counterpart of trap monsters, the Exceeds, magic monsters. And even better, they help bring out all of them. They help bring out those trap monsters, those Exceeds, those synchro monsters, all those nice effect monsters, the unique ones, all those normal tuners. Beast mode. That's what they did. And it was a lot, you know what I mean? But we in the new era. Here's Duel Link, sorry, Duel Link, sorry. Here's the Link monsters, and here we go, bro. This here we go, guys. This is what you guys wanted, man. They fucking nerfed the shit out this game. This game is fucking nerfed, bro. And we shouldn't bash it because, it got way better. It got way better. And I really pray that you guys are listening, watch this video. So let me just move right along. It's going to be a long ass video, but let's move right along to the new cards that's coming out. So they're just showcasing, the new cards. The Now no Kishi, Galasper, whatever his name is. The Video Knight, no effect. 2600 attack, Link 3. Links is left, right, and then down. And then you have two or more monsters. So like I said, just keep in mind about everything I said. Remember what I said about the monsters being a left and right monster? Maybe the fact that the arrow's pointing to the left, that probably necessarily doesn't mean that you can take that monster on the left. You know what I mean? So remember how there was 2 extra monster zones, the new 2 zones? Probably that arrow that's pointing to the left means that you probably can't take over that monster card zone. Only probably your opponent could, because it becomes theirs. Or probably you can. Who knows? Like I said keep it in mind, because going back to what I was saying earlier is this. Remember what I said? Let's say he had every arrow pointing out, and even to the left. That means that he could bring something out here. Maybe the ruling is that once you choose one of your zones, this automatically becomes your opponent, so you can't take this. But what if there's a dual link monster? That's why I said keep everything I say in mind. That says, if this if this card has a link that's pointing instead of to a main monster zone, which is what it's called now, if this dual link, if this monster, let's say the effect is, if this monster has the link that's pointing to an extra monster zone, or if a link of this card is pointing to an extra monster zone, you could take control of that extra monster zone, even if it's considered your opponent. So meaning, that's towards the end of this, towards the end to make everything nice, like I said earlier. Meaning that if this shit is pointing to the fucking left, you could take both of them shits to be yours, and that nigga can't bring out shit. That's a shutdown, and nigga can bring out shit. So he won't be able to bring out extra deck cards. He won't be able to bring out extra deck cards. Because you can't even extra deck summon. You only could summon. You only could extra deck summon to the fucking that new zone. But if that monster, that beast has monster, like towards the end of Duel Link, of the new link card, says that if this just so happens to be pointing to the extra monster zone, you could summon another link monster there. That should be beast, because then you're taking control of everything pretty much, and he can summon. So they probably do it at the end. Who knows? But just that's what I'm saying. Keep it in mind, because they could do that at the end. You know what I'm saying? So it made it. It made it really, really fun. It made this really, really fun. So to continue, guys, 2 or more monsters. Remember this shit? This is the vanilla. That little dog thingy. That shit came back. Link 2, 14 attack. It wasn't a vanilla, actually. It was an effect monster. Sorry. I think it has the same effect as some shit. You can only use... So, see, he says, Earth Beast type link effect monsters, 2 link 2 monsters. 2 Earth monsters. Materials 2 Earth monsters. So you need 2 Earth monsters. Either one. So 2 Earth monsters, meaning either two Earth monsters, and you can link it up, or one link monster and 1 effect monster. Remember the decreasing, because you can bring them out 2 ways. Same thing with the link 3, but this guy, it just says link 3, 2 or more monsters. So he's kind of unique, because it says 2 materials, 2 or more monsters. So you could either bring 3 link monsters, or because of the decreasing effect, it'll be 2 or more monsters, meaning link one monster, or 2 effect monsters. But if you have 1 link 2 monster and 1 effect monsters, that's why it says 2 or more monsters. So it's not confusing at all. It's easy. So you just gotta pay attention to like Earth, and one materials could be, or 1 exceed monster, and 1, it could be like that. The materials could be different. But yeah, this is effect. You're going to use 2 effect of this card's name once per turn. All Earth monsters on the field gain 500 attack and defense. All Wind monsters on the field lose 400 attack and defense. 2, if this card is destroyed by battle or a card effect, you can target 1 Earth monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, which is cute. It said we're not being lazy. We're not being lazy. The OCG now lists effect as this card's name for limitation text. Rescue Ferret. Yeah, it's a Rescue Ferret. So basically, I'll try to explain this card as much as I can. Sorry for like the down of the energy. It's just like I'm just so hyped, and it's about to be towards the end of the video. But level 4 Earth Beast type effect monster, attack 300, defense 100. You can only use this card's name effect once per turn. You can shuffle this card you control to the deck. Special summon any number of monsters from your deck whose total level equals 6. 2 link zones on your field except Rescue Ferret. But their effects are negated. Also, they are destroyed during the end phase. So, for example, let's say you had a monster with 3 links, right? Link 3, and it has three in the bottom, right? So it will be the diagonally left, diagonally right, and then the straight down one, right? So it's self-explanatory. So that equals 6. Basically, the way it works is just that 2, 4, 6, 3 level 2 monsters, or 3, 2, 1. You know, whose total levels equal 6. So it has to equal 6. So you can't. It says up to any number of monsters. Sorry. So it could be 2, 4, 6, 3 level 2s, or just 2 level 3s, a level 4, 1, and another one. You know, you guys get it. You guys get it. Which is beast. Is beast. You could fucking bring out some god cards with this shit. Like this shit is beast. Double summon off that shit, and you could bust out some shit. That's what I'm saying. It changes the game because it doesn't say that you can't summon after that. I could just, let's say I already had a link monster there. I could just fucking summon this shit, activate bots, and all those 3 double summon tribute, nigga, obelisk or some shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, guys, just look forward into effect monsters. Like we're back. They restarted Yu-Gi-Oh basically. It's all about high level attack monsters and regular effect monsters. You know, this extra deck summoning shit, they slowed that shit down. So it's all about the new link monsters, but this extra deck summoning shit, like the pendulum summon and all that extra shit, like they slowed that shit down. So all these new cards is coming out. You know what I mean? All these new cards is coming out. And I actually said at the beginning of this video that I didn't see this page. I did see this page. I forgot. I thought it was something completely new. I did see this page. They have but that's all the updates. They have the Cyber Wizard, level 4 light cybers type effect monster, 1800. And then defense 800. Once per turn, you can target one attack position monster your opponent controls changes to defense position and all. Whoa, hold up. Once per turn, you can target one attack position monster your opponent controls changes to defense position. Also, this card cannot attack monsters except that monster. If a cyber type monster you control attacks a defense position monster, inflicts piercing battle damage to your opponent. Yeah, I seen this page, but I just didn't read the effects. Some cute shit, you know. Just there's new shit coming out. Break off trap hold, normal trap. When a link monster is link summoned, destroy all unlinked unlinked monsters on the field. So if your monsters are linked to that if your monsters are linked to that link monster, you get money. If it's not linked, then you're deaded. So the way it works, if wherever the arrows is pointing, you could link certain monsters to that monster. So it's not that you can't it's not that you can only summon extra monsters to your opponent to your extra monster card zone. You could summon monsters to your main zone, but only if you're linking it to your to your link monster, basically. So it's like wherever the arrows are pointing is where you could bring out um those extra deck monsters, wherever your arrows are pointing. So if because if you don't have a link monster, you only have the extra monster card zone, and only one could go there. So you bring on Exceed, a Fusion, or whatever. But it makes no sense. You just bring out one Exceed and that's it. And you only can have up to one Exceed. It don't make no sense to bring out one Synchro Monster and that's it. You only can bring out one Synchro Monster. You know what I mean? It just makes no sense. You know what I mean? You want to bring out, they're pushing you to bring out a Link Monster regardless. So you can bring out all your other shit from your extra deck. That's the whole point of Yu-Gi-Oh! They want you to use these new cards. That's what it is. So, in other words, you could bring out more than one extra deck monster on the field, basically, as long as depending on where it's pointing at the link effect. Let's call it the link effect. All right, so new light sworns, bro. Twilight Lord General Giant. Yeah, this is light sworn and it's a dark light sworn. So that's what I'm saying. They slowed down the game, but they're giving us sexy ass shit. Look at that, the new fucking light sworn that is the dark. Once per turn, you can banish one light sworn monster from your hand or graveyard and target one face-up monster on the field. It loses attack and defense equal to the banished monster's level times 300 until the end of the turn. Once per turn, if another of your Lightsworn monster effect activates, send the top two cards from your deck to Gura. So fucking Lightsworns is literally Twilight now. It's called Twilight Sworn. So this is crazy. Fucking Dark Dragon, bro. Punishment Dragon, bro. Level 8 Dark Dragon type special summon effect monster, attack 3000, defense line 600. Cannot be normal summon, must be special summon from your hand while you have 4 or more different banished Lightsworn monsters, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can pay 1000 life points, return all face-up banished cards and all cards in the graveyard to the owner's deck except Lightsworn. So once per turn, during either player's turn, you can pay 1000 life points, return all face-up banished cards and all cards in the graveyard to their owner's deck except Lightsworn monsters. When I first seen this effect, because shout out to Asian Eyes. Asian Eyes was the one I remember that I was seeing this. I forgot that Asian Eyes showed this because I was just so hyped on my way home. I was in the train when I first seen this. But Law Money Next Door and shit like the new Gandora cards that are so beast and that require, Necrophase that requires you removing shit, this stops it. This stops it a lot. This Darkroom Dragon. So once per turn, if your Lightsworn monster, once per turn, if your Lightsworn monster effect is activated, send the top 4 cards of your deck to the graveyard, which is the same effect as Judgment Dragon, just a new dark style. I feel like I was missing something that I said earlier. I doubt it, but if I rewatch my videos anyway, so if I'll put in the description of anything. So it says Castle Link field spell card. Once per turn during your main phase, you can target one link monster you control, move it to a main monster zone on your side of the field that it is linked to. Once per turn during your main phase, switch the placements of 2 link monsters in your main monster zones or 2 link monsters in your opponent's main monster zone. So it says once per turn during your main phase, switch the placements of 2 link monsters in your main monster zone. 2 link monsters in your main monster zone. Switch the placement of 2 link monsters. So you can swap them, and then or 2 link monsters in your opponent's main monster zone. So remember, depending on where they're pointing those arrows, they have certain effects. So depending on that is what's gonna happen on that zone. Because maybe the arrow that's pointing diagonally to the right, whatever monster you have there, that shit probably can't be destroyed by battle or can't be destroyed by spells and traps. So that's why cards like this are coming out. Remember what I said. So that's what I was saying, that keep everything I said in mind, because if that shit is pointing to the left and you have it in your extra deck monster card zone, and pointing to the left is the other extra deck monster card zone where the new cards go, what if this monster effect says you can summon a monster on your opponent's extra deck monster zone? Meaning I can have 2 there. This nigga can't do shit. This nigga can't do shit. That's beast. That's what I'm saying. You could trap your opponent. It's like we're playing Duelist of the Roses with actual duel monsters. DD Vice Typhoon. They have all these new DDs. You can only use each of these cards' effect once per turn. When this card is normal summon, you can tribute 1 DD monster, special one level DD monster from your deck. During the end phase of this card is in the graveyard and was sent there during this turn. You can banish fusion materials listed on the level or higher DD fusion monster from graveyard, including this card. And if you summon that fusion monster from your extra deck. All right, I read that shit completely wrong, but you guys can see it. It's DD, self-explanatory. More DD shit right here. I remember this. DD Shipu Dio Executive Alexander. Gus Emperor Executive Alexander, level 10 Wind Fiend, Synchro effect. So Wind Fiend, 3000 attack, 2005 defense. 2 materials, 1 2, blah blah blah. You already know. You can only use effect. You can only use this card's names 2 effect once per turn. Card's name, Yu-Gi-Oh always change it. Yu-Gi-Oh's always change it, so it's all good. And there's a translation too, by the way, so don't worry about it. If there are 3 or more DD monsters on the field, this card gains 3000 attack. That's beast. That nigga becomes 6,000. If a DD monster other than this card is normal summon, is normal. If a DD monster other than this card is normal or special summon, while this card is face up, you can target 1 DD monster in your grave or special summon it. DDD Doto Dio Executive Caesar, DDD Wave Emperor Executive Caesar, or Caesar, whatever his name is, rank 6 Water Fiend type Exceed. Fiend type Exceed effect monsters. Attack the rank 6 Water Fiend type Exceed effect monsters. My fault. I thought I read something else. I'm like, what the fuck? Attack 2,800, 18 defense, 800 defense 1,800, Exceed materials, 2 level 6 Fiend type monsters, blah blah blah. And when a monster effect or spell trap card that would be special summon, a monster is activated. let me read it right. When a monster effect or spell trap card that would special summon a monster's active. Okay, you can detach this from this card and get the activation. You destroy nice, and you can have one other demon you control gain times attack until the end of this turn. I could choose my attack. What? I don't know what the fuck that shit means. Times attack? 1,000 attack? Let me see this shit. Let me see this shit. This shit is telling me I could juice that shit as much as I want. I don't know. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add one dark contract card from your deck to your hand beast. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, you could summon them like synchro monsters, you could say, or like a shortcut of synchroing. So if it's link 8, it's gonna basically say 2 effect monsters. It will say 2. If it's link 8, it will say 2 effect monsters or more. You know what I mean? It will say 2 monsters or more, because I don't know how you're gonna have 8 effect monsters to do it, but they mean 2 effect monsters or more, meaning okay, you're gonna obviously use a link monster. So link 3 and then 5 effect monsters. That's your whole field. Or link 4 and then 4 effect monsters, or link 5 and then 3 effect monsters. That's pretty much it. Or if you have for the link 5 monster the actual 5 effect monster, you could just do that too. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. That's just how it is. That's all it's about. And wherever those arrows are pointing, remember guys, they may have effects. So it's not that you summon your opponent's out of the field, or it could be that you can summon your opponent's out of the field. Just keep that in mind. But most likely is that wherever those arrows are pointing, even if you're pointing to your opponent when it's in the extra monster zone, wherever the arrows is pointing, that monster gains a certain effect, or it nerfs its effect. So obviously, if it's pointing to yours, you'll get a juice effect. If it's pointing to your opponent's, it'll give it a nerf effect. So imagine a Link 2 monster that has only the up arrow, and then the bottom arrow, right? That's a Link 2 monster, right? If this card's links is pointing to your monsters, it gains 1,000 attack. If this card's links is pointing to your opponent monsters, it loses 1,000 attack. That's how it works. So that's what I'm saying. Towards the end, they're gonna make beast as link cards. Beast as link cards, where you could say, if this card's links is pointing to your opponent's side of the field, you could special summon a monster on that side of the field. And remember what I said. Either it could be attacked or it can't be attacked. It could be destroyed or it can't be destroyed. It could attack directly or it can't attack directly. Who knows? But just expect those type of beast shit happening. Or if the links are on the left to the right, and if it's pointing to the extra monster zone, which is consider your opponent's now because you took this side or whichever side you took, maybe you'll be able to summon something on that side and completely just squash your opponent. Because remember what they said. You gotta place your card on the field carefully now. You can't just be crazy like 5D's pendulum. Game over. You know what I mean? Now you gotta think. It's like Duelist of the Roses. So thanks for watching. I know it's a long video, but it's a well informing video, and thank you guys. Hopefully you guys listen to everything, because I explained this to the best of my knowledge, and I'm completely hyped. I literally took my time to do this. Like, I'm supposed to be resting right now because I work overnight, and I took the time to do this. Now, of course, that doesn't mean shit. I still was gonna do it regardless. Just because of that doesn't mean that I want you guys to watch the video. You guys would even hear this until you watch it. But anyway, so yeah, it's just to show you how hype I am. That's why I said that. I literally did this shit on my day off. So thank you guys for watching. 100% here. There's 100% me to you again. Signing out. And what can I say, man? Let's play Yu-Gi-Oh!